Hi everyone. So I'm gonna show you a couple things about Java if statements. While I'm doing that, I'll show you and ors and nested if statements. I'm While I'm doing that, I'm gonna sneak in a couple thoughts about readable code and about logic and interpreting it and figuring out what's going on. This is mostly meant for beginner developers. So what I did, I just went to W3 Schools, pretty powerful website. It gives you lots of examples, lots of introductions to all sorts of different programming languages. And I just searched for Java if else, and you see all these examples here. They're pretty great. And I just went down to edit this one, which looked kind of interesting. And what it's doing is it's just stating a variable, hard coding a variable here, time in this case, which looks like it's in 24-hour time, just hours. And if time is less than 10, it's going to say good morning. Uh, if time is less than, and then if it doesn't follow this, then it goes to else if, which says if time is less than 20, then say good day. Or if it's not either of these two, then it's going to say else and it's going to say good evening. Pretty simple, right? Uh, I'm just going to start tinkering with this and showing you a couple things. So first thing is these line breaks. It's kind of, I don't really like this. It's kind of hard to read. We like readable code. In my opinion, this is a lot more readable. With these, some people add even more line breaks or do things like this, and that's too much in my opinion. I think this is pretty clean. If you don't have readable code, the likelihood of you getting lost is higher. We want and remember whenever you're coding a real app, you might remember it now. You might be very familiar with this now and remember exactly what you're doing, what everything does. But when you come back tomorrow or a week later or a year later, or if someone new comes in to see your code, we want them to be able to read it and to read it quickly. Most people when they're programming, they spend most of their time reading code and understanding code and very little time writing it. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. So let's start with testing some of these. Let's try a 6, and I expect good morning. Let's just make sure it's working. Then we'll add in a couple more advanced things. Yeah, that's what I expect. Great, and let's do one more. I expect good evening with this one because it doesn't meet either of these two conditions here. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so let's try doing an and. Um, how about we do another else if statement? What if I put time 9999? That's more than 24 hours. Right now it's going to say good evening, but I don't really like that. That's going to get kind of, this should be a bug. This should throw an error if the input's like this. So my code is not very robust. So I'm just going to kind of manufacture a little bit of more robustness. How about if time is less than 20 and time is greater than 9, then I want it to say good day. And that's gonna say, okay, gotcha. And I don't have to do this, but I'm just trying to show you an and statement. And now if I do 11, that should still work. Great. But what if time is 9999? Then I kind of want to do another one. I wish it would throw an error. So to make it throw an error, I'm going to copy this one here and I'm going to say if time is less than 25, uh, and time is greater than, let's say, 19. That way we're not overlapping. We could say if time is greater to or equal than 20, but we want to make our code as simple as possible. And then I want it to say good evening. And then if it's not this, if it's greater than 24, I want it to say error. Time is greater than 24. Or to be even more helpful, I could say time is maybe single quotes. Not sure double quotes would work. Time is greater than 24, and let's try this. My time is 999. Yeah, and that makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Now I expect time to be, the highest time I want is 24, and I expect it to say good evening, unless my logic is wrong. Good. Okay, let's do another one. Let's try another function. Public static Boolean. This is telling Java that my function is Boolean. Weather is nice. So notice we're saying good. We always say good morning, good day, good evening. Well, what if it's not a good evening, right? And I'm just going to have this return true. So I could add some more stuff in here, but I'm just going to try and keep it really simple as possible. So let's say if time is less than 10 and weather is nice. So this is a condition. I'm not going to name it X. That would be, I could, but that would confuse me in the future. I'm going to say if the time is less than 9 a.m. than 10 o'clock and the weather is nice, then say good morning. And I could add another else if statement, but I want to change only one thing at a time and test my code. I just changed a little bit of code, and now I want to test it to make sure it's doing what I expect. Great. Now let's test it again. And what's going to happen now? It's not going to meet this. It's going to fail this, and it's going to go on. So does it meet this one? Yeah, it still meets this one. It's, greater than 9. Let's have it say 10. Yeah. Here, I have an idea. Let's just erase this one. And then we can stick with the 10. And then I'm expecting it to fail this one. This one will be, oh, nope, this is not true. If anything in here is not true, because of this and statement, it's going to go on. Good day. Good. Now, watch what happens if I do an OR statement. This is an OR. This is 2 bars. It's just above the Enter key. Now I expect it to say good morning. If I were to debug this, I could look at what this variable said, and I could see this one is true, but this one is false. But that's okay because this is an AND state. This is an OR statement, so we're still going to say good morning. Great. All right, and we could switch it back to and kind of do. We want to make it comprehensive, so we could say if time is less than 10 and weather is not nice. This little exclamation point is kind of the opposite of this. And weather is bad is what this is saying. Nice is the opposite of bad. If time is less than 10 and the weather is bad, I want it to say bad day. Yeah. So both of these are false. One of them is true, but both of them are false, with the and statement in there. But both of these conditions are met. These conditions are satisfied, so it's going to say bad day. Awesome. Another way I could do this is like a nested if statement. So nested if statement more looks like this. It's a if statement inside of a statement. If weather is nice, then say good morning. Uh, else statements are kind of dangerous. I kind of want to do if else, but most people are going to do this. If weather, if not, if not weather is nice, then I don't want to type all this out. I usually just copy and paste. Oops. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. There. Then I want it to say bad morning. And this time I expect it to say bad morning. Yeah. So it's going inside here. It's saying, yep, I I see that time is less than 10. So let's go inside here. Is the weather nice? No, it's not. So I'm going to do this else one. And I rather kind of do this. Else if not weather is nice. This I think this is a little more robust. And then I say else. Here, let me clean up my tabs here. This IDE doesn't clean up my tabs very well. There we go. Else system out error. And sometimes I could just put a code in here, a random, something like that. And then when this happens to a user, I can just search this code. And I didn't change the behavior. I just made my code a little bit more robust. Cool. So like if maybe if I returned ASDF or something, then that would fire. All right, let's. I think that's about all I wanted to show you. Testing. I'll give another reminder that you want to test a couple different ones here. Test. Make sure it's behaving. Test the edge cases. If you make this 24, is that going to be okay? And make one change at a time. And sometimes you're just going to be confused, and you're going to look at this code and say, I don't know what's going on here. If that happens to you, it might be because you made too many changes at once. Try hitting Control Z or backing out, and then just do one change at a time. And that's going to make it a whole lot easier to debug. And keep it clean. Yeah, keep your structures consistent. Here, I violated that rule here. We like consistent structure. And that's kind of your beginner tips. Good luck with it. Thank you. Bye-bye.